Hello, good day to all. I'm Brother Shmel Tuazon, prophet of God in the last days, marked by God. God marked me with fire in my belly button as a sign that I'm His prophet. I'm also prophesied in the Holy Bible. Greetings to all. I have a message again to America and her allies, to NATO, Western powers, that God told me that He will use to take over the world for Him on these last days, to fulfill what God wanted as written in the Holy Bible, to fulfill on the end times. Now, I have seen what USA is doing right now, and I want to say some words what God told me to understand on these past days. I want to tell you the message. Now, as you can see that the enemy is forming by leadership of the dragon. The dragon, according in the Holy Bible, the dragon will gather his enemy, all the countries he can gather, he will gather. This is the fulfillment of the prophecies of God. As I'm saying, the dragon right now, the one acting as the dragon right now in our time is China. So more and more countries will join them, will join the dragon. To do what? To oppose the army of God. The army of God right now, who is God assigning as His army, is the United States of America, USA, and her allies. So the Western power will be God's army. Now, I can see the movement of America as God is showing to me, as God making me understand. Of course, this coming war is very, very big. It's very big war. As the Bible is saying, is Armageddon. So, I want to say something about the movements of America right now. If in real war, okay, first things first. In real war, you cannot avoid to take over some other countries. You know why? Because if nuclear war will happen, you need to have a buffer. What I mean, some extra space, so that in the event of, if nuclear weapons rain in the sky, you will still have lands to fight. But I don't think it will reach that point, because as God told me, US will be the dominant as written in the Holy Bible. So I'm just explaining, we cannot avoid to take over some countries. God told me a plan 2 nights ago. I don't know if I can reveal it here, but the Americas should push southward and take over some countries. You know why? Because if you don't take over them, the enemies will take over them. But these countries are closer to you. So, the other good thing about this is the narcos will finally be punished. Because as you cross southward, because we need to take these lands, its people, its population, we need resources, we need manpower. And these people are good fighters. They're good fighters. Because we need people who can really fight, not just talk. Because in the real battlefield, it's you know what's in there. These people are good in fighting. And if we're gonna push southwards of America, of course, we're gonna finally stop these narcos. You know what I'm talking about. And God will also use you to punish them, because they already did a lot. Okay, yeah, they're doing business. I know the truth. There's some exchange even between. I know the reality. I'm not blind in the reality. Some politicians, I know something crossing. I know. God told me about these things, but because we need to be decisive. We need to be hard if you want to win on this war. So you need to take the southern lands. Actually, you have to take all of it in order to win. So we need the manpower, we need the resources, their land, because the coming Great War is a very terrible one, a very terrible one. Now I know you're pushing to Africa. Now I want to tell you something about people, what I've learned for the past 40 years of my life. Because the problem with the scenario right now, you cannot just convince people with diplomacy, even if you throw billions at them. You know why? Because of TikTok. And because everyone right now can talk easily by smartphone technology and by TikTok or by any means of online communication right now that's happening. It's very effective. Almost all the people are smart. So one thing I learned about people, and what America is doing right now, even if you dump billions on these African countries, they will still betray you. Because this is the character of people. What can make people really to respect you or to follow you? The only real thing that can make people bend their knees is to cut their knees. There's no other way. Yeah, it's brutal as it seems, but the people right now are different. It's not like after the world wars that people are decent, you can talk with them, you can make them follow you. This time, no, it's different now. So power, you need to show power. Any kind of softness, it will not work. So stop thinking that you can send billions to these nations in Africa and they will follow you. No, they will betray you. You will just lose the money. So do not do that. The only thing to control these people, to make them work for us, for the army of God, for the resources, for the food, for minerals, metals, whatever we need for this great war that will happen in Asia. The only thing that will make them follow is sheer force. Sheer force. Money will not do it. Sheer power. And of course, it's not just like doing that. Of course, there are many steps to do that, which of course I cannot say here. And another thing is, I want to say about the UN, about the United Nations, about this organization that was organized after the world wars. Yeah, it will work before, decades ago, but not now. It's not fitting now. You know why? Think about this. The enemy doesn't have a UN. They do not have these rules and policy. Nothing is stopping them. Nothing. Even if they take other countries, no one will say, oh, you did human rights violation. Because they do not have a UN. So what I mean, the UN right now, this old organization decades ago that is designed after the world wars, it will not work right now anymore. Of course, you need to maintain alliances, but I think you need to update the rules that will fit on the coming war. Because look, if I am a commander and I send a warrior and he killed 1 million enemies, and then after that the UN will say, oh, you violated human rights. So our warrior will be afraid to do his job effectively. To kill the enemy will be afraid, because he's gonna be afraid of all these human rights, whatever, you know. So what I'm saying right now is these rules right now, these rules of the UN that was established decades ago, it must be updated, that will fit on the modern perspective, on the modern coming war, so that our warriors and fighters and officers and generals will not be afraid. Because why they should be afraid of the UN, while the enemy doesn't have a UN. So I hope you understand what I'm saying about. So changes must be done to make sure our power and effectiveness in the coming war, because this war is not a joke. You know war, what it is. You know what it is. You know what it is. Now about the use of budget and in the actual attack itself. I want to say about the strategy. Winning the war on this very great war doesn't necessarily means that you're gonna throw 500,000 missiles each to them. You will win. No, it's not like that. We need to make a strategy. What God told me is a few very expensive smart weapons on the front, but at the back is all cheap gravity bomb. So it's like elite soldiers on the front, the most experienced, most trained soldiers on the front, but in the back it's like Mexicans. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So it'd be like a nasty war, you know. So at the front they're elite, but in the back it's just like handiwork. So I know what you get. I know the warriors, the soldiers, the war leaders know what I mean. Same as an aerial attack. Why are we going to throw 500 smart bombs cost 500,000 each? No. We have very few smart bombs on the front on the initial assault. And then we're gonna rain them with cheap gravity heavy bombs at the back. So, and God is telling me about a multi-layer attack, because of course they're gonna flank us. Even if we have thousands of war aircrafts and bombers, and of course they will flank us with everything they got. All the metals they will throw in the air, all the lead, and they will shoot at in the air. But we're gonna outsmart them with multi-level attack. We're gonna have very smart modern warplanes in the front, the most expensive ones, few of them, but at the back it's all cheap, carrying gravity bombs. And while we're flying towards them, below them some very smart warplanes is gonna scoop all the anti-air, and when they are cleared, the cheap gravity bombs is gonna rain on them. And if they form on the land on their army, of course we're gonna rain on them with cheap gravity bomb. So as you can see, the strategy I'm talking about here, what God makes me understand. You do not need to spend billions on this war. No, save as much money as you can, because throwing billions on this war will not guarantee your success. No, what will guarantee your success is superior strategy. You know, even I don't know if you read I don't know if the commanders in America, the warriors, the heroes, the leaders, I don't know if you read fully the Holy Bible. But God is talking about something here about war. As I've told before, God is a warrior. It's written in the Bible. You can search it. God is a warrior. Now God is teaching to us a strategy. What is that? If you can observe all the wars in the Holy Bible, God is saying, before you attack, your troops are too many, reduce them. Your troops are so many, reduce them, because God will not be glorified if our army is much bigger than them. How can God show His power and glory? So as you can see, the wars in the Holy Bible is like the odds are 10 to 1. 10 on the enemy, 1 on our side, but they win. So God is teaching to us, do not depend on numbers. Depend on few numbers and superior strategy, because that is how God will show His power. This is what God is teaching to us. This is what the Holy Bible is teaching to us. So we need few elite, very heavily trained American warriors, but on the back we need regulars. Okay, and of course, the other people who will join in other countries, because the Americans, they're very well trained, they're expensive, so we need to save them as minimal casualty as we can do. And because they're elites, we need to save almost all of them. And you know what I'm talking about. I do not want to say so much here. You know what I'm talking about. So the strategy, few numbers, but the result, few numbers, but because of training and strategy, the result is devastating to the enemy. Actually, the result will be very terribly devastating to the enemy. This is what God is teaching to us. So this is my message. I'm just opening to you what God told me in the past days. And actually, God already telling me right now, speaking in my head, telling me, okay, that's enough. So I end this video right now like this. So greetings to all, glory to our Lord God, and to His Son, our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen.